Stuka Joe here, and today we'll be playing a full game of one of the games that comes in Against the Odds magazine. This is number 43, and the magazine includes two games, Islands of the Damned, Wake Island, and Peleliu, and we will be playing the Wake Island game. These games are both solitaire games, and in this game you will see the Japanese forces approaching Wake Island here, and we have some zones here around the beach and close to the beach, and the Japanese forces start the game as part of these counters that are inverted. Not all of the counters are Japanese naval units. Some are ammo markers that we use to increase our chances to hit the Japanese. Others are fuel markers for our Wildcat aircraft. Others are Wildcat aircraft. So the game has a system by which we roll dice, and then we reveal each of these chits or counters sequentially, and we play them accordingly. Instead of explaining the game in full detail now, we'll just play the game and explain it as we go along. The first phase is the discovery phase. We roll two dice and we select the highest result. And it's both are twos. So we select two markers, and I place that there as a reminder. The first counter is an ammo marker, and we place it here in our ammo dump. The second counter is a Wildcat. Wildcat has a strength of 2. We place it on the airfield. The next phase is the Japanese movement phase, but there's no ships on the sea zones. And the next one is the Japanese attack phase. We skip that also, as well as the shore battery phase, where we fire on the Japanese. There's nothing to fire at. The Wildcat phase comes next, where we can fly our Wildcats and attack Japanese ships. Then the recovery and retreat phase, where Japanese ships that have any fire markers are retreated in shame and placed in the Emperor's disgraced box. Then the Carnage phase, where we check to see if the attack for the first wave has ended. And finally, the victory point check, which doesn't occur until at the end. So we move now to the first phase again, the discovery phase, and we will roll two dice and select the highest result. And this time we have a 5. We pick the first of 5 markers, a Yankee grit marker. These markers are used to give us re-rolls in when we are inflicting damage on the Japanese or when our airfield is hit. Now we pick the second of 5 markers, another Yankee grit. Now we have 2. Third of 5 markers, and a Japanese ship from the 30th Destroyer Squadron. Now, to determine where this Japanese ship starts, we roll a die, and we consult these Roman numerals here that go from 1 to 6. So we roll one die, and the result is a 2. So we place the ship here in the number 2 zone, deployment zone. Now to the fourth of the 5 counters we're going to draw, a Wildcat with a strength of 3. And we place it here on the airfield. Now we draw the last counter from this discovery phase, another Japanese ship from the same division as the one we drew before. When we draw a ship from the same division as one already placed on the map, we place the new one in the same zone. Now to the Japanese movement phase, where we move individual ships or ships belonging to the same division which form a group and are in the same space like we have here. We have the pictures of possible die results. If we roll a 1, a 2, or a 3, we move this group to this zone. If we roll a 4, 5, or 6, it would move laterally to this one. So we roll one die, and it is a 6. So both ships move to the zone to the side here. Now to the Japanese attack phase. Even though we have Japanese ships on the map, to be able to fire, they have to be in a zone that has at least a number and roll that number or higher. These ships are too far away to fire, so they can't fire at our island, nor our guns can fire at them yet. And now we go to the short battery phase, and there's nothing to fire at, and none of the other phases apply. So we move again to the top, to the discovery phase. Roll 2 dice and pick the highest result. We have a 6. So we pick the first counter, and it is a fuel counter. Place it in the fuel depot. These counters allow us to fly our Wildcats. Second counter is an ammo counter. And now we have 2. Third draw, another ammo marker. Now we got 3. Fourth draw is another Japanese ship, this one from the 29th Destroyer Division. We roll 1 die, see where it begins, and it's a 6. And here we have deployment area 6, and there it goes. Now we draw a 5th counter, another Japanese ship. This is a transport, and that's why it has the number at the top in brackets, and that number is the strength of the ship. We roll to determine where it starts, and another 6. And we also place it in deployment zone 6. Deployment zones are the only type of zones where we can have ships of different divisions. Once we move to these tactical zones, you can only have ships of 1 division there. And now the 6th and last counter to be drawn, and another fuel marker. And it goes to the fuel depot. Now to the Japanese movement phase. What I will do is I will roll off camera, and then we will move the ships accordingly. The destroyer rolled a 6, so it will be moving to this zone. And the transport rolled a 2. Here we have the 2, so it will be moving laterally here. And for the 2 units of the 30th Destroyer Division, a 6 was rolled, so they will be moving laterally here. Now to the Japanese attack phase. The only ship that can fire at the island is the one from the 29th Destroyer Division, because there is a 6 in its tactical zone. So we roll a number of dice equal to the strength of the unit, which is 3, and only 6 is hit. So we roll, and 1 6. For each hit, we roll 1 die on the island hit location table and apply the result. So we have to roll 1 die, and the result is a 5. Ammo dump hit. We discard 1 ammo counter from the ammo dump or reduce the garrison by 1. In this game, we lose if our garrison value, which starts at 20, it goes down to 0. So now we have a choice between consuming a fuel counter or reducing the garrison by 1. And I'm going to burn one of the fuel counters. And now to the shore battery phase, where our shore batteries can fire at Japanese units in range. We have here battery A. It has a gray 6, and that means that it can fire at Japanese units in tactical boxes with gray circles, like this one here. And a battery that is undamaged rolls 3 dice. If a battery has a smoke marker, like this, it would roll 2 dice, and if it has a fire marker, it would only roll 1 die. So we're going to roll 3 dice, and we need 6s to hit the Japanese unit. So here we go. And no 6s, so that's a miss. The other batteries that we have is, for example, battery L, which can fire at any Japanese unit in any of the tactical zones that has a circle, irrespective of its color, and battery B, which can fire only at those zones with red circles. Now would be the Wildcat Phase. We have Wildcats that could fly, but Wildcats can only attack Japanese ships that are in these beach areas, or we can place the Wildcats on combat air patrol. But combat air patrol will only have any effect during the second wave, where the Japanese can send fighters, 0 fighters, against the island. So we're going to skip this phase. And we're going to skip also the recovery and retreat phase, Carnage Phase, and victory point phase. We go now again to the discovery phase. And we pick the highest result, and there is a 6. We pick the first of 6, and it is a Japanese patrol boat. We roll to see where it appears, and the result is a 5. And we place it here in deployment zone 5. We draw the second of 6 counters, and this is a Yankee grit marker. And now we have 3 of those. Now we draw the third counter, and this is another Japanese ship from the 29th Destroyer Division. And we don't have to roll to place this one because we already have one from the same division on the map, so it goes there in that zone. And now that is a threat here that we have 2 Japanese ships approaching from the zone here, or the range of Battery A. Now we draw the fourth of 6 counters, and it's an ammo marker. And we place it in the ammo dump. We draw the 5th counter, another Japanese ship from the 18th Light Cruiser Division. We roll for placement, and it goes to deployment zone 4. And here it goes. And the last counter to be drawn from this discovery phase, another Japanese ship, and from the 29th Destroyer Division. We don't have to roll for deployment because we have 2 other units from the same division, and this game may be shorter than we think. And now to the Japanese movement phase. And we move the ships of the 29th Destroyer Division and the 42nd AP transport. Now we move the patrol boat and the cruiser from the 18th Cruiser Division. And finally, the 2 units from the 30th Destroyer Division. Now to the Japanese attack phase, and we will roll for each one of these destroyers 3 dice, starting with the leftmost destroyer, and 5 and 6s are needed for hits, and there's a 5 and a 6, 2 hits. Now we roll for the effects of the hits, and we have a 6 and a 3. So the 3 is an airfield hit. If a Wildcat is in the airfield box, we can eliminate it or reduce the garrison by 1, or discard 1 Yankee grit counter from the box. Okay, I don't want to reduce the garrison value if I can help it, but I don't want to lose a Wildcat. And those Yankee grit markers are sorely needed. So we will reduce the garrison value by 1, and it's now at 19. Now we resolve the 6 hit. It's a shore battery hit. Because the Japanese ships are in gray circles, that hits Battery A, and we have to either place a fire marker on the shore battery, which will reduce its firepower from 3 dice to 1, or reduce the garrison by 1. And this shore battery is essential right now. We have 3 ships approaching it, so we will have to reduce the garrison value by 1, and it's now at 18. Now we roll for the second destroyer, 3 dice, 5s or 6 hit, 1 6, 1 hit. And let's see where that hit lands. And it's a 2, headquarters. And the garrison strength is reduced by 2, and this cannot be negated. So the garrison strength is being reduced rapidly, now down to 16. And now we roll for the rightmost destroyer. 5s and 6s hit. No hits. The only other Japanese ship in range is this transport, but because transports can't fire, This is the end of the Japanese attack phase. Now we go to the shore battery phase. And we have two of our batteries that can fire on the destroyers here. We have battery A that can fire on any area with a gray circle, and battery L here that can fire at any area with a circle, irrespective of color. So we're going to have battery A, and we have to pick a ship. It's going to fire at the rightmost destroyer. So we roll 3 dice, and we need 5 or 6, and it's all misses. Now we roll here for battery L. It's going to fire at the leftmost destroyer. We need 5s or 6s, and we have 1 6. So this destroyer is hit, but now we have to roll to see if there's any damage on the destroyer. And to be damaged, we have to roll equal or greater than the strength of the destroyer, which is 3. So we roll 1d6, and the roll is a 3. And that's 1 point of damage. We place a fire marker, and we will place it underneath the destroyer. And that will cause the destroyer to withdraw in the upcoming recovery and retreat phase. This is the first wave. And during the first wave, any 1 point of hit will make the ship withdraw. In the second phase, you need 2 points of damage. But for now, that's a good result. That destroyer will be heading back. Next, the Wildcat phase. We're not going to fly any Wildcats. Now, the recovery and retreat phase. And we have this destroyer that is on fire will be taken off of the map and placed in the Emperor's Disgrace box. Whenever there are 6 ships in that box and or the Emperor's Glory box, the first invasion attempt ends with a withdrawal of the Japanese forces. None of the other phases are executed. We roll 2 dice to determine number of chits to be revealed in the discovery phase, and we have the higher result, which is the 4. We pick the next counter, and it's an ammo marker. It goes to the ammo dump, and now we have 5. Pick now the second of 4. Another Wildcat. Now we have 3, but we only have 1 fuel unit. We have more planes than fuel. Pick the third counter, and it's the Japanese ship Yubari. This is the Japanese flagship. We have to roll for its placement because it is considered its own division. And the Yubari is placed in deployment zone 4. It goes right here. And the last counter to be drawn for now is a Yankee grit marker. And we place it here, and we have 4 of those. Now we go to the Japanese movement phase. The destroyers move 1 zone forward, and also the transport approaches the island. Now we see the movement in the central part of the map. And the movement of the 30th Destroyer Division. Now to the Japanese attack phase. Of all the ships that are on the map, only the ones from the 29th Destroyer Division can fire. They're very close to the beaches, and they will fire now. Okay, we roll for the leftmost destroyer, 3 dice, and they will hit with 4 or more. And we have 2 4s and a 1. That's 2 hits. Let's see where these hits land, and we have 2 2s. So this is terrible. This is 2 headquarter hits. For each hit, the garrison value goes down by 2, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. So the garrison value is now at 12. Now we roll for the rightmost destroyer. 4 or more is hits. And there's 2 5s, 2 more hits. Let's see where these land. And we have a 5 and a 6. The 5 is an ammo dump hit. We discard one ammo counter or reduce the garrison by 1. We got plenty of ammo counters, so we're going to lose one of those. And the 6 is a shore battery hit. So we either place a fire marker on the shore battery, which will reduce its effectiveness to 1 die per shot instead of 3, or we lose another garrison level. And with those 3 destroyers where they are, we're going to have to lose another garrison point, so it's now down to 11. Now to the shore battery phase, and battery A will fire at the rightmost destroyer, and we will use one of our ammo markers, which will give us a +1 to the to hit die roll. So we need 3 or more for hits, and we roll 3 dice. And we have 3, 3, and 6, so that's 3 hits. So now we roll to determine the damage, and 3 or more will damage the destroyer, and all 3 damage the destroyer. So that destroyer is out of action. And destroyers that are out of action go directly to the Emperor's glory box. Now we fire away battery L against the remaining destroyer here. 4 or more will hit, but we will use another one of our ammo markers. So now 3 or more will cause a hit. We roll 3 dice, and we have a total of 2 hits. Now we roll for damage. 3 or more will cause damage hits, and we have 2 points of damage. So this destroyer is also out of action, and we place the destroyer in the Emperor's glory box. Now there's no Wildcat Phase or recovery and retreat phase. The Carnage Phase. We check here, and we have 2 ships in the Emperor's glory box and 1 in the Emperor's disgrace box. If the total reaches 6, the Japanese will withdraw from this first attack wave. Now victory check, we roll 2 dice for the next discovery phase. Pick the highest number, and it is a 6. And we pick the first counter, a fuel counter. These are going to come in handy when we need the Wildcats to make some sorties. Next counter, another fuel barrel. And that's 3. Next, a Japanese transport from the 42nd AP Division. And we don't have to roll for this one because there is another one from the same division here. So now we have 2 in a tactical zone with a number 5. Next counter, another fuel marker. And these apparently will come in handy if those transport reach the beaches. Next to last, an ammo marker. And we have 3. And the last marker for this discovery phase is another fuel marker, raising the total in the fuel depot to 5. Now we execute Japanese movement. Here's the movement for the rightmost ships. The 18th Light Cruiser Division unit rolled a 4, so it's called to move here, but there's ships from a different division, so it cannot move here. And the rules say that then we must choose another area for which there are die result numbers. And the only other area is this one here, so the ship is moved to that area. And now we move the remaining ships. And that concludes Japanese movement. Now to the Japanese attack phase. The transports cannot attack, even though they are the nearest ships to the island. But we have attacks from the patrol boat, the light cruiser, and these 2 destroyers. So we will begin with the patrol boat. We roll 2 dice, and he needs 6s, a 4 and a 2. That's a miss. Now the light cruiser rolls 4 dice, also needs 6s, And there is 1-6. That's one hit. Let's see where this hit lands. And it is a 1 shore battery hit. And that is battery L. We place either a fire marker on the shore battery or reduce the garrison by 1. And here's shore battery L. This is the most important battery because it can fire at any of the circled zones in the map. So either we put a fire marker on it, in which case its fire will be practically ineffective, or we reduce the garrison, which is low already. And we keep reducing the garrison, and it's now at level 10. The Yubari can't fire because it's not in a zone with a circled number, so we go now to the 30th Destroyer Division ships, and we're going to fire first with the topmost destroyer. It rolls 3 dice, and it needs 6s to score hits, and there's 1 hit. Let's see where this thing lands, and it is a 5 ammo dump hit. Okay, we either take out an ammunition marker or lower the already low garrison track, so this is a no-brainer here. And now the lower destroyer here fires 3 dice, 6 to hit, and no 6s. Now that we see these transports approaching the beaches, there is one way that the game ends. If the total value or strength of the Japanese ships that are on the beaches is greater than the garrison strength, the game ends, and then we go to check victory conditions. So now we go to the shore battery phase, and we have battery A will fire at this transport. And we will burn our next to last ammo marker. We have a +1. So we hit with 3 or more. And we roll 3 dice, and we get 2 hits. Now we roll for damage, and we need 4 or more. Roll 2 dice, and 2 and 3, no damage. And now we will use one of our 4 Yankee grit counters, which allows us to make a reroll of the damage roll for against the Japanese rightmost transport ship. So we roll again. And this time we have a 5. So the ship is on fire, and it will go to the Emperor's disgrace box after during the next phase. Now battery L will fire at the leftmost transport, and we roll 3 dice, and we need 4 or more. We have 1 ammo marker left. Do we want to use that ammo marker now? We're going to take a chance. We won't use it now. So here we go. We need 4 or more. 3 dice, and there is a 6, 1 hit. Now we roll to determine if there's any damage, and we need 4 or more. So there we go, and it is a 4. So that other transport is also on fire and will get the heck out of Dodge in the upcoming retreat phase. So now is the Wildcat phase. We're not going to fly any Wildcats. And now comes the recovery and retreat phase. And both of these transports that are on fire are placed in the Emperor's disgrace box. Now to the Carnage phase to see if this first wave attack ends. And we're almost there. We need 6 Japanese ships in the Emperor's glory and or Emperor's disgrace box. We have 5, so it's not over yet, but we're getting close. Okay, no victory check. We go again to the discovery phase and pick the highest result. We have 2 3s, so it is a 3. Select the next counter, and this is another Japanese ship from the 30th Destroyer Division. And we have units from that division already on the map. So now we have 3 in a tactical zone with a 6. We select the next counter, a Yankee grit marker. And that's our fourth, and we can never have enough of these. Last marker to be drawn in this phase, and this is an ammunition marker. And this one comes in handy. We have 2. Now to the Japanese movement phase. Okay, bear in mind that the game rules state that the ships in the innermost bands here move first. So we will move the PB ship, the one from the 18th Light Cruiser Division and the 30th Destroyer Divisions at this time. We moved the PB boat and the 30th Destroyer Division. The 18th CL rolled a 4. It would be in the same zone, so it will move as if it rolled a 1 through 3 to this zone. And now we move the Yubari. Now to the Japanese attack phase, and things are getting a little ugly here. We have 3 destroyers at range 5, this light cruiser at range 5, and the patrol boat also at range 5. So we're going to have 5 Japanese ships firing on the island. And we will start with the topmost destroyer here. We roll 3 dice, 5 or more hits, no hits at all. Now the second destroyer fires away, 3 dice, and there is a 6, 1 hit. Let's see where that lands, and it is a 5 ammo dump hit. Our garrison is at strength 10, and a word about the garrison. There comes a point in time in the game in which we can flip the garrison marker from its marine side to add civilians to this side, but it has a cost in victory points that will be assessed at the end of the game against us. But the good side is that we roll 1 die and we add the number rolled on the die to the garrison track. But right now we're at level 10, and we're not going to reduce the garrison level, so we're going to take one of our precious ammo markers instead. Now the third destroyer fires with 3 dice, needs 5 or 6 to hit, and there is a 6, 1 hit. And this hit lands a shore battery. And the firing ship is in a red circle zone, so it would be shore battery B. And it is either to place a fire marker here or reduce the garrison by 1. We need these shore batteries. That's the best defense we have. So with a lot of gloom, we reduce the garrison track to 9. Now we go to the shore battery phase. We only need 1 more Japanese ship to send to the Emperor's Glory or Disgrace boxes to end this first wave. So we will fire first with the battery A against the patrol boat here. And we need 5 or more to hit, and we roll 3 dice. Do we use our ammo counter? No, we won't. So here we go. And we rolled a 5 and a 6. That's 2 hits, so that is out of action. And the patrol boat goes into the Emperor's Glory box, and that means during the recovery and retreat phase, the first wave will withdraw. So we will not fire any more of our batteries. We go to the Wildcat phase. We won't fly any Wildcats. Now we go to the recovery and retreat phase. And no Japanese ships are moved to the Emperor's Disgrace box. So now we go to the Carnage phase. There's 3 ships in the Emperor's Disgrace box and 3 in the Emperor's Glory box for a total of 6. So this is the end of the first invasion attempt, and all ships on the map withdraw and are placed in the Emperor's Disgrace box. We mark the last revealed counter location on the first invasion track because that'll be important for victory point determination at the end of the game. Now we reveal the first invasion markers that are left. There are 2 Japanese ships. Both ships are placed in the Emperor's Disgrace box. The Wildcat is placed in the Airfield box. Now we have 4 Wildcats. And the ammo and fuel counters are placed in their respective boxes on Wake Island. And we have 4 ammo markers and 7 fuel markers. And now we're ready to begin the second invasion attempt. Now we're about to start the second invasion attempt, and we will draw from these counters here. If we draw a Banzai counter, then 1 full division of ships that are in the Emperor's Disgrace box comes in, and it can be from 1 to 3. There's a whole division of 3 ships there. And we roll in the Discovery Phase 3 dice instead of 2, and we pick the highest result. So here we go. And the highest result is a 4. So we pick the first counter, and it is a Banzai counter. So we select the full division. Of course, we're going to select the weakest ones first. So we will select the patrol boat, and now we have to roll to see where it is placed. And we place it in deployment area number 4. Now we select the second counter, and it is a ship from the 60th Cruiser Group with a 5 strength. This one really is fearful. Let's see where it goes in deployment area 6. Next is a fuel marker, and we have 8 of those. And last counter to be drawn in this Discovery Phase is another fuel marker. Now we have 9. Now we roll for Japanese movement. A 1 and a 6. And luckily the cruiser moved sideways. There is no Japanese attacks, nor any of our batteries can reach these ships. No other phases apply. We go back to the Discovery Phase, and again we roll 3 dice and pick the highest result, and it's again a 4. And we pick the first counter, and it's another Banzai counter. So we pick a division of the ships in the Emperor's Disgrace, and we're going to pick the 29th DD, which is only 1 ship. And it goes to deployment area number 1. We select a second counter, and this is a Yankee Grit. We have 5 of those. We will desperately need them very soon. Third counter, ammo. Our ammo goes up to 5 markers. And our last counter of this phase is the Japanese 0. Okay, now I realize that at the beginning of the second invasion, all our Wildcats start in the Combat Air Patrol, and for free without the expenditure of any fuel. So I just put them there right now. Now the 0 dives from the clouds and attacks 1 Wildcat of our choice in the Combat Air Patrol box. Now, do we want the 0 to attack the stronger Wildcat, or it's going to attack this Wildcat with a strength of 2, so we don't risk the loss of the stronger Wildcat right now. Now we roll 4 dice for the 0, 2 for the Wildcat, and whoever gets the highest single die result wins. In the event of a tie, because we would have other Wildcats in the Combat Air Patrol box, we would win. But if there would be no others, then the 0 would win. So we roll 4 dice for the 0 and pick the highest result. And highest result is a 5. Now we have to roll for the Wildcat. 2 dice, and we pick the highest result. So there's only 1 chance in 6 of winning. Well, actually, with a 5, we win because of the other Wildcats there. So here we go. And we roll rolled a 5, so it's a tie, but we win the tie because we have other Wildcats in the CAP box, so the 0 is destroyed. Now the Japanese move. The cruiser rolls a 3 and advances towards the island. The patrol boat rolled a 6 and also advances. And the destroyer from the 29th Destroyer Division rolls a 4 and also advances. Now the cruiser will fire at the island. It rolls 5 dice and it will hit only with 6s. So we roll 5 dice and not good. We have a total of 2 6s. Let's see the location of the hits. We have, that's 2 2s. That's terrible. 2 headquarter hits. So we lose 2 garrison points per headquarter hit. So it goes down to 5, and things are looking grim. We will probably have to recruit civilians very soon. Now we fire back in the shore battery phase, and all our eligible guns are concentrating its attention on this cruiser. So we will fire first with battery L, and we roll 3 dice. We will use one of our ammo markers to increase the to-hit number to 5 or more. So we roll 3 dice, and we get 3 hits. And now we roll to determine the damage suffered by the cruiser. So we roll 3 dice. We need 5 or 6, and we have some Yankee grit markers that we can use in case we want to re-roll. So we roll 3 dice, and we get 2 6s, so we won't be re-rolling. And with 2 damage points, the cruiser is out of action, and we place it in the Emperor's glory box. We won't fly any Wildcats, and the rest of the phases are skipped, and we go to the discovery phase, and we roll 3 dice and select the highest result. And that is a 4. We flip the first counter, and it's a health counter. And we discard it immediately to recover 1 level on the garrison track, and we are now at 6. Now we take the second counter and another banzai marker. So now we choose, and the 30th Destroyer Division has 3 ships. The Yubari is only 1, and there's 2 from the 18th Light Cruiser Division. So we will pick the Yubari, and we will roll for placement, and it is in deployment area number 3. We draw the third of 4 counters, and a unit from the 23rd Destroyer Division. We roll for placement, and it is a 3 also, so it goes together in the same area as the Yubari. They can coexist there because this is just a deployment area. Now we draw the 4th and last marker of this phase, and this is another 0. And now we will place it to attack another of our 2-strength Wildcats. We roll 4 dice for the 0, and we take the highest die result. And the highest die result is a 5. Now we roll 2 dice for the Wildcat, and with a tie we win. Anything less than 5 we lose. And this time there's not so much luck, a 2, so the Wildcat is destroyed. And we also discard the 0. Now to Japanese movement. So here we have the Japanese position prior to movement. Here are the positions prior to movement. And the positions after movement, the patrol boat is at range 6 here, as well as the 29th destroyer ship. So now we go to the Japanese attack phase, and we will roll first for the patrol boat 2 dice, and patrol boat needs 6s to hit. And this is bad luck for us, 2 6s. Now we determine the location of the hits, and we have a 3 and a 4. Airfield hit and a fuel depot hit. Now if the airfield hit, if a Wildcat is there, we either eliminate it or reduce the garrison by 1 or discard 1 Yankee grit counter. We have 3 Yankee grit counters. I don't like discarding those. I'm gonna remove 1 of the Wildcats. And the other hit was 1 on the fuel depot, so we eliminate 1 of the fuel counters. Now the 29th destroyer ship rolls 3 dice and needs 6s. And there are no 6s, so it misses. Okay, now our batteries fire. Battery A will fire at the patrol boat. We need 6s unless we use another ammo marker. That patrol boat, I'm not going to waste an ammo marker on that, so we will roll 3 dice and we need 6s. So here we go. And we get 2 6s. So the patrol boat is out of action and goes to the Emperor's glory box. Now battery L fires at this destroyer. We roll 3 dice and we need 6s. And there are no 6s, so that's a miss. Now we fire with battery B because this is a red circle zone. 3 dice and also we need 6s. Again, no 6s, another miss. None of the other phases apply, and now we move on to the next discovery phase, and we roll 3 dice and we select the highest result. And the highest result is a 3. And the first counter selected is a Yankee grit marker. And we have now 6 of those. The second marker is a Japanese ship from the 23rd Destroyer Division. And that Destroyer Division is here. So we place it together with its ship from the same unit. Now we proceed to the third and last draw of this phase, another Yankee grit marker. Stated before, these markers give rerolls to us whenever our airfield is attacked and suffers hits, or whenever we make a roll for damage on a Japanese ship. And if we don't use them, at the end of the game we earn victory points for Yankee grit markers that are not used. Now we proceed with Japanese movement. The destroyer from the 29th Destroyer Division moves to this zone. And here, both of these groups move to this zone. So we move the 23rd Destroyer Division here. And the Yubari will move to this zone here. The only Japanese that will fire now in the Japanese attack phase is the one from the 29th Destroyer Division, and it will roll 3 dice and it needs 5s or 6s. So here we go. And there's 2 6s, 2 hits. Let's see where they fall. And the roll is a 1 and a 3. 1 falls on shore battery L, and the 3 is an airfield hit. And we have just 6 garrison points right now. We still have 25 markers to draw, and now we have to make tough choices. The hit on battery L, if we take it, we place a fire marker on it, And the best we can expect is that during the ensuing recovery phase, we flip the fire marker to a smoke marker. That means that in the next short battery phase, we can roll 2 dice. And but we will never be able to roll 3 again. But we will have to do that. We just can't take another hit on the garrison track. So we place a fire marker on battery L. The other hit is on the airfield. Actually, now I realize that the last time we had a hit on the airfield, all my planes were on the close combat air patrol box, and the rules state that if there are none in the combat air patrol box, in the airfield box, which was the case, we cannot eliminate a plane from the combat air patrol box. So I'm going to return that plane, but the downside is that we lose a garrison point. And it is now down to 5. And now we decide as to the airfield point here. We have the same situation. We have no planes in the airfield box. We have to reduce the garrison 1 for this attack. And now it's down to 4. Now we go to the shore battery phase, and that 29 destroyer unit or ship is in a red circled zone. So we have both batteries B and L that can fire at it, although L is just can fire with only 1 die. We're going to fire first with battery B. So we roll 3 dice, and we need 5 or 6, and it's time to spend one of these ammo markers. So that gives us a +1. So we need 4, 5, or 6, and we roll 3 dice. And we get 3 hits. So now we roll for damage. And we need 3 or more to cause damage points. So here we go. We roll 3 dice. Oh boy. Just 1 damage point. In the second wave, or the second invasion attempt, 1 damage point only causes a fire and the unit stays there. So we're gonna burn one of our Yankee Grit markers. Here we go, and that gives us a reroll. So we roll all 3 dice again, and we need 3 or higher for damage points. So here we go. And this time we just overused our luck. 3 6s. And that means this ship is out of action and placed in the Emperor's glory box. Now is the recovery phase, and we flip this fire marker on battery L from its fire -2 side, because it takes away 2 of our dice, to the smoke -1 side. And it's going to stay that way for the remainder of the game, unless it keeps on getting hits and we place more fire markers there. And none of the other phases apply, so we go now to the next discovery phase, and we roll 3 dice, select the highest result, and it is again a 3. We pick the next marker, and this is a transport from the 46 AP division. Let's see where it is placed, and that is a 3. So it goes into deployment area number 3. Now we pick the next marker, another Banzai counter, and this time we're running out of choices. Transports are always chosen last, so we have to choose between the 3 destroyers of the 30th Destroyer Division or the 2 cruisers of the 18th Light Cruiser Division. Between both, they have 8 strength, and between these 3, they have 9 strengths. So we're going to pick the light cruisers. Now we roll for placement, and it's in the deployment area 6. And they go right here. Now the last marker of this phase, and it is another Japanese unit, a cruiser from the 59th Cruiser Division. Let's see where it is placed, and it is in deployment area number 5. And that is right here. And now to the Japanese movement phase. Here we see the movements of Cruiser Group 18 and the cruiser from the 59th Cruiser Group. Luckily for us, the big cruiser moved sideways over here. Now the movements of the Yubari and the 23rd Destroyer Group. And finally, the newly arrived transport ship. And there are 5 Japanese ships that are eligible to fire. And we'll start with the fire of the 2 light cruisers of the 18th Cruiser Group. We start with the leftmost cruiser, 4 dice, and they need 6s and no 6s, so that's a miss. Now we roll for the rightmost light cruiser, 4 dice, and they need 6s. And there's 1 6, 1 hit. Let's see where this one lands. And it's a 1. Shore battery L is hit once again. So now we must absorb the hit by flipping the smoke marker to its fire side or lose 1 garrison point. We have 4 garrison points, so this there's not much choice here. We flip it to its fire side, and now it only rolls 1 die. Now it's the Yubari's turn to fire, 4 dice, and only 6s will hit. So we roll 4 dice and no 6s. That's a miss. Now it's the turn for the destroyers of the 23rd Destroyer Division. We roll with the topmost destroyer, 3 dice, and on 6s there will be hits. And there is 1 hit. Let's see where this one lands, and it is a 4 fuel depot hit. We'll lose 1 fuel marker in order to not reduce the garrison level. Now we roll for the rightmost destroyer, 3 dice, and 6 is needed to hit, and no hits. Shore battery phase, we have battery A will fire on the rightmost cruiser, light cruiser here. So we will roll 3 dice, and we need 6s. We have 3 ammo markers left. Do we want to burn one right now? These 2 cruisers together are really scary, so we're going to use 1. And that adds 1 to our to hit number. So we hit on a roll of 5 or 6. We roll 3 dice and all miss. Now we have the shore battery L, which is on fire. It can only roll 1 die, and we will fire on the leftmost light cruiser, and it will hit on a roll of 6. We have 2 ammo markers. We won't use them, so we need a 6 here. And the roll is a 1. That's a miss. And that ends our shore battery phase because battery B can only fire at spaces with red circles, and we have no Japanese ships there. Wildcat phase, we skip that. The recovery phase, now the gun emplacement here recovers, and we have a smoke marker, which reduces now the amount of dice that it rolls to 2. And now we move to the next discovery phase. So here we go. We pick the highest number, and that's a 5. So the first counter is a health marker, and that really comes in handy. We increase the garrison value to 5, and we can declare civilians drafted, and I think I said it before, that would give us a die roll's worth of extra manpower, but we would suffer victory point penalty. So I don't want to declare that yet. Now we move to the second marker, Banzai. Now we have to choose. The transport is the last group that we bring in. Now come the 3 destroyers of the 30th Destroyer Division. And we roll 1 die to see where they will be entering the map. And it's from deployment area 2. So we place all 3 here, and that will keep battery B busy for a while. Next marker is Yankee Grit. And with that one we have 7. Next we have another health marker. And now our garrison level goes up to 6. And now we flip the next counter for now, and it's another big cruiser here from the 60th Cruiser Group. There are no ships from that group in the game, so we roll a die, and the die is a 4. So it goes here. And we just ended the discovery phase, now Japanese movement phase. And as you can see here, there's a lot of Japanese ships approaching the island now. And here are the movements of the ships on the outer bands. Now to the Japanese attack phase. And again we have 5 Japanese ships attacking from range 5. And we begin with the light cruisers here. The leftmost light cruiser fires away 4 dice and needs 5 or more. And there's 1 hit. And let's see where the hit lands. And it lands in the ammo dump. So we have no choice. We have to eliminate an ammo marker. We're not going to reduce the... We have no choice. We have to eliminate an ammo marker. We're not going to reduce the garrison track at this time. And now we fire with the rightmost light cruiser. 4 dice, and it scores hits on 5 or more. So here we go, and there is 1 hit. Let's see where this hit roll falls, I say. 6, shore, battery A or B. In this particular case, because the ship is on a zone with a gray circle, it's going to be zone battery A, so we either have to place a fire marker on it or reduce the garrison level from 6 to 5. So that's we're gonna have to place a fire marker on it because the garrison level is too low. So here we go. Now it's the Yubadi's turn to fire, and it rolls 4 dice and hits with 5 or more. And this time it missed. Now the 2 destroyers from the 23rd Destroyer Division. We're going to roll for the leftmost destroyer first. It rolls 3 dice, and it needs 5 or more to hit. And it missed. Now we roll for the rightmost destroyer. 3 dice, and it also missed. So there's a good break there. And that's all the ships that the Japanese had eligible to fire for now. Now we fire with our shore batteries. We're going to fire first with battery A, which has a fire marker, which reduces its fire rate from 3 dice to 1 die. And we hit on a roll of 5 or 6. We only have 1 ammo marker. Do we use it now? No, we're not going to use it. So here we go. We need a 6. We're going to use it. We're going to use it. hopefully we'll draw more. So 5 or 6, 1 die roll. Here we go. And it's a 2. That's a miss. Now battery L will fire with a smoke marker. Can only roll 2 dice. Even though these ships are closing in, they have a strength of 3. The U-body has a strength of 4, but because of the asterisk, it cannot enter any of the beach areas. These can enter the beach areas. So the battery L is going to fire at the rightmost light cruiser. We roll 2 dice, and we have to roll 5 or 6 for hits. And we have 1 hit, a 6. So now we roll to see if we cause any damage. And we have to roll 4 or more. So here we go. And the roll is a 5. So that causes 1 fire marker to be placed on the affected unit, which reduces its rate of fire or its die rolls by 2. But it stays in the action, not like in the first invasion attempt where it would just go back. It stays there. We have to hit it with 1 more point so that it becomes out of action. Now to the Wildcat Phase, and word about the Wildcats. The rules state that at the beginning of the second invasion attempt, we set up the Wildcats in the combat air patrol box instead of the airfield. And we do not have to spend any fuel points to place them there. That is for free. Now, from the combat air patrol box, the Wildcats during the Wildcat Phase can be assigned to attack any ship on the board. And the ships roll for evasion, something that may lessen the strength of the Wildcat attack. But the good thing about the Wildcats is that they don't roll to see if they hit the ship. It is assumed they automatically do. They roll directly for damage points. So that's how powerful they are. Now, after they attack and survive the attack, they land on the airfield. And in the next turn, if we want to use one of those Wildcats again, and move them to the combat air patrol, we have to burn 1 fuel marker. So now we're going to start using the Wildcats, and we're going to place our strongest Wildcat, the one with a combat strength of 3, to attack the leftmost light cruiser here, and 1 with a combat strength of 2 will be placed here to attack one of the destroyers of Destroyer Division 23. First, the target ship rolls for evasion and anti-aircraft guns, and it rolls its strength in number of dice, 4 dice, and for each 6 rolled, the strength of the Wildcat attack will be reduced by 1. So we roll 4 dice, and there is 1 6. So the strength of the Wildcat attack is reduced from 3 to 2. So now we roll 2 dice for the Wildcat attack, and we roll directly for damage. 4 or more will score a damage point. So here we go. 2 dice, and we have a 4 and a 5. So that's 2 points of damage on the this light cruiser, and that puts that light cruiser out of action. So we place it in the Emperor's glory box, and our hero returns to the airfield. Now we go to solve the next Wildcat attack, and the target ship rolls 3 dice, and for each 6, the strength of the Wildcat attack will be reduced by 1. We roll, and we have 1 6, so it is a 1 strength attack. We roll 1 die, and we need 3 or more to cause some damage, and the roll is a 5. So that's 1 damage point. That is, in other words, we place a fire marker, which reduces the strength of the destroyer group by 2. And it will remain on the map, different than the first wave ships. And we return the Wildcat to its airfield. So at least the Wildcats did some damage. Now to the recovery and retreat phase, and now we reduce the damage from fire at battery A to smoke. And I had misread the rules previously. We can remove smoke. The smoke marker on battery L is removed. And the same happens with the Japanese ships. The light cruiser now has smoke instead of fire damage. And the destroyer also has smoke. We skip the Carnage and Victory Point phase, and now we go to the Discovery phase, and we roll 3 dice to determine how many chits we will be obtaining, and we read the highest die, and that is a 4. So the first counter is a 0. And the 0 attacks aircraft in the Combat Air Patrol box. And because we only have one aircraft, the defending aircraft, in the case of a tie, that is, if the 0 rolls equal to the highest result from the Wildcat, the 0 wins. So now we solve the combat. The 0 rolls 4 dice, while the Wildcat only rolls 2. So we roll the dice for the 0 and we read the highest result. And 6 is all over the place. So there's a 6 for the 0. And this battle is going to be lost anyway, because the most the Wildcat can get is a 6, which will be a tie. It rolls also a 6, but because there are no additional Wildcat forces, Wildcat units, our Wildcat is destroyed, and we remove it from the map. And now we also remove the 0 counter. Now we flip the next counter, and it is an ammo marker. And we place it in the ammo dump, and we have 1. The next counter, a Yankee grit marker. And we have 8 of those. And the last marker in this phase, a Banzai marker. So the 42nd AP division with 2 transports enters the game, and we have to roll for initial placement. We roll 1d6, and it enters deployment area number 3. So we place both ships in deployment area 3. Now we roll for Japanese movement, and we move all units according to the die roll for each one of them. And the Japanese are nearing the beaches. Let's take a closer look. Here we have the light cruiser from the 18th Light Cruiser Division in a zone adjacent to the beach. We have the Yubari also adjacent to the beach, and the 2 destroyers from the 23rd Destroyer Division also adjacent to the beach. And we also see the ships here, the 30th Destroyer Division, 3 ships at range 6, as well as this transport. And we have 2 other transports coming in behind, which just entered the game. Now to the Japanese attack phase, and we have 7 Japanese ships attacking. We will solve the attacks from right to left, starting with the light cruiser here. It has a strength of 4 originally, but with the smoke, the strength is reduced to 3. So we roll 3 dice, and it scores hits with 4 or more. So here we go. And only 1 hit. Let's see where the hit lands. And it is a 3. It hits the airfield. Now we have to choose between losing a Wildcat or reducing our garrison level, which is at level 6. And the Wildcats are one of our hopes here. So we're going to actually reduce the garrison level from 6 to 5. Next, we fire with the U-body. It fires 4 dice, and it hits with 4 or more. So here we go. We roll 4 dice, and we have a total of 2 hits. Let's see where those hits fall. And we have 4 and a 3. The 3 is, again, the airfield, and a 4, the fuel depot. So the fuel depot is easy. We just remove 1 fuel marker. And now we have the same decision. Do we lose a Wildcat, or the garrison goes down to 4? Remember, we haven't activated the civilians yet. We don't want to lose a Wildcat. So the garrison marker goes down to 4. Now we roll for the rightmost destroyer, and that destroyer has no damage, so it rolls 3 dice and hits with 4 or more. Here we go, and luckily for us, they're all misses. Now we attack with the leftmost destroyer, and that one has smoke, so it rolls 2 dice, 4 or more to hit. And the rolls are 4 and a 5. So that's 2 hits. Let's see where those fall. And we have 2 5s. So that is 2 hits in the ammo dump. We can take 1 ammo marker off, but the second hit we cannot offset it. So the garrison marker goes down to 3. If it comes down to 1, the game ends, and then we check to see the victory condition. So this is coming very close right now. We still have a total of 3 Japanese ships that have not fired, and they will start firing now. The bottom destroyer rolls 3 dice and needs 6s. So here we go. 3 dice. And let's see, no 6s. So it missed. Now the next destroyer, the middle one, 3 dice and needs 6s. And no 6s, 3 5s. So we're living on the edge here. The last destroyer, the topmost, 3 dice, 6s needed for the Japanese. Here we have no 6s. So 9 die rolls, no 6s. We were very lucky there, very fortunate. Now we have our batteries firing, and battery A has smoke, so it rolls 2 dice and needs 4 or more to hit the light cruiser here. So here we go, 4 or more to hit. We have 2 hits. So now we roll to determine damage. And the current strength of this cruiser is 3. So we have to roll 3 or more to inflict some additional damage. So here we go. And we rolled a 4 and a 3, 2 damage points. And that puts the light cruiser out of action. So we place it in the Emperor's glory box. Now we have battery L. Let's see, this ship is in a weakened state, so we're going to fire at that one. Have a better chance of making it go away. So we roll 3 dice, and we hit on a die roll of 4 or more. So here we go. And completely missed. Now we have the battery B here, which can fire at spaces with red circles. It's going to fire at the bottom destroyer here. Well, let's say here the bottom destroyer. And we roll 3 dice, but we need 6s to hit. So here we go. And no 6s. So that's the end of our shore battery phase. Now to the Wildcat phase, we're going to spend 1 fuel marker to launch 1 Wildcat, our strongest Wildcat, which is the 3 strength Wildcat, and we're going to place it in the Combat Air Patrol. Why not send both? Because if we send both and the Japanese then bomb the airfield, we're going to lose garrison points. So we're just going to send one, because the Wildcat that we just moved to the Combat Air Patrol can't attack in this turn. It will be from next turn onwards. So that ends the Wildcat phase, and now we have the recovery and retreat phase. We remove the smoke marker from Battery A. The Japanese destroyer here with the smoke marker has the marker removed. Here is the garrison track, and we're at level 3 right now. If the marker reaches level 1, the game ends and we calculate victory points. But we don't want the game to end now, because we want to make sure that we can remove more of these markers and obtain a higher score here. And as well as we want to send more of the Japanese ships to the Emperor's Glory box to get more points also. Now, if we choose to not draft the civilians now, during the next Japanese attack phase, the game may end. So we have to do it now. So we flip the marker to the civilians drafted side. The downside is that at the end of the game, we subtract 20 victory points from our total, but we're going to have to take a chance. And we roll not 1 die, but we roll 2 dice. And we add the total of both dice to the garrison level here. So here we go. The higher the number, the better. 2 dice, and we rolled a 9. So that increases now the garrison level from 3 to 12. So that was very good. So now we continue with the next phase, which will be again the discovery phase. So we roll 3 dice and we pick the highest result, and it is a 6. Pick the first counter, and it is a health marker. So now we have the garrison level at 13. Now the next marker, and it is a transport from the 46th AP division. And the 46th AP has already 1 transport on the map, so we place this one right beside it. Next counter, another health marker. And now the garrison level is at 14. Next marker, a 0. And this 0 will attack our ace Wildcat pilot. And now we roll 4 dice for the 0. And we register, or we will take the highest result. And we roll 4 dice, and there are 2 6s. So the 0 has a 6. And now our brave Wildcat pilot has to roll. And he's going to lose anyway, because on ties, and he lost anyway. There's not even a tie, so he is removed, and the 0 is also gone. Next counter, and it is an ammo marker. And we have 1 for now. And the last counter of this phase is another 0. So normally the 0 goes to attack any of our Wildcats in the Combat Air Patrol, but when there are none, they strafe our airfield. And in that case, we lose 1 Wildcat there. So there's only 1. And the Wildcat is lost, and the 0 is gone. Now to the Japanese movement phase. And now we finally have 2 destroyers on the beaches. And Yubari was called to enter the beach area, but because it has an asterisk, it stays right where it is. We start firing with the leftmost destroyer. It rolls 3 dice and hits on 3 or more. And we have here 2 hits. And the hits land in 1 and 6. 1 is the battery L, so we can afford to burn some garrison points at this time. So we reduce the garrison level now to 13. Keep that battery intact for now. The 6th result pertains to battery A or B, depending on the color of the circle here. This is a gray circle, so it hits a battery A, and we're going to do the same thing. To preserve that battery, we're going to spend 1 garrison point. And now it goes down to 12. Now the rightmost destroyer will fire, and it will roll 3 dice and hits on 3 or more. So here we go. And there's only 1 hit. And let's see where that hit lands. And it is a 4 on the fuel depot. So we can burn 1 barrel of fuel. We don't have any more Wildcats, so why not? And that way we don't spend any garrison points. Now the Ubadi will fire. It has rolls 4 dice and will score hits on 4 or more. Here we go. Oh, that is 3 hits. And the hits are 1, 4, and 6. And 1 is shore battery L. We're going to absorb a garrison point there. 4 is the fuel depot. So another of these barrels is gone. And 6 is the applicable shore battery, the one with the gray symbol. That's going to be battery A. And we're also going to preserve the battery, so we're going to subtract garrison points. So in total, it's 2 garrison points that we lose. Now the garrison level goes from 12 to 10. There are still 5 more Japanese ships that can fire. Now we fire with the cruiser of the 59th Cruiser Division. It rolls 5 dice and hits with 5 or more. Here we go. See, let's re-roll 1 that came out. And we have 3 hits. And let's see where these hits fall. We have 1, 5, and 3. 1, 3, 5. 1 is again the battery L. The airfield is 3, so we lose 1 garrison point for the airfield. We can't offset it. And the other one is a 5. That's the ammo dump. So the ammo dump, oh boy, this is going to be tough. We're going to take the ammo for loss, and we subtract 1 garrison point from the airfield and another one for battery L. So now the garrison level goes down to 8. And now we roll for the cruiser of the 16th Cruiser Division. 5 dice, but this time only 6s score hits. So here we go. We roll, and there is 1 6. So we roll 1 die, and it falls in the number 3 spot, which is the airfield. And we don't want to reduce that garrison level. One way of offsetting it, I said before we couldn't, is using these grit markers. So we're going to use 1 Yankee grit in order to not have to reduce the garrison level because of the hit on the airfield. Now we roll for the 3 destroyers, starting with the bottom destroyer. 3 dice and 5 or 6 are hits. Oh boy, 3 hits. So we roll, see where they fall. It's going to be 1, 4, and 4. 1 is the shore battery. We're going to preserve the shore battery. So we reduce the garrison track to 7. But we have 2 fuel depot hits, and we will remove 2 fuel markers. Now we roll for the middle destroyer. 3 dice, 5 or more are hits, and those are all misses. And now we roll for the topmost destroyer, 3 dice, 5 or more are hits, and there is a 6, 1 hit. Let's see where that one lands, and the die roll is another 4. The fuel depot, so that's our last barrel. Finally, we roll for the topmost destroyer, and that will be 3 dice, and 5 or more are hits. Here we go, and oh boy, 3 hits. So we roll to see where these land, and we have 1, 5, and 6. 1 is here, and the thing is, the garrison track level is at 7. If it goes below the level here that the Japanese have, that they have a strength of 6, the game will end also. So that battery is going to have to take that hit. So we place a fire marker there. It was 1, 5, and 6. 5 is the ammo dump. There is no way we can offset that. So we deduce 1 garrison point, and it goes down to 6. And the last hit was a 6. It is this battery, battery B, because these ships are in spaces with red circles. So we place also a fire marker there. That battery is going to be practically useless for a while. And that is the end of the Japanese attack phase. Now we go to the shore battery phase. It's the shore battery phase, and of course all of our batteries are going to converge their fire here. Battery A will fire at the rightmost destroyer. We roll 3 dice, and we need 3 or more for hits. So we have here 2 hits. Now we roll for damage, and we also need 3 or more. With 2 damage points, we send that ship out of action. So here we go. And we have a 6 and a 3. So that destroyer is out of action, and we place it in the Emperor's Glory Box. Now battery L will fire, but it is on fire, so it only rolls 1 die, and it will fire at the remaining destroyer here in the beaches. So we need a 3 or more. Here we go. And we have a 3. We have a hit. Now let's see if there's any damage, and we also need 3 or more. And we rolled a 4, so that destroyer is on fire. It will stay there, but at least it's on fire. And finally, the last battery that will fire is battery B back here. It is on fire. It will only roll 1 die, and we will roll against the topmost destroyer. So we need here a 5 or more, and we rolled a 6. That's a hit. Now we roll to see the damage, and the damage is a 4, so that ship is also on fire. And that's the end of our shore battery phase. We have no Wildcats, so we skip that phase. The recovery phase, we flip these batteries now from having fire damage to smoke, and we do the same with Japanese ships that were just caught on fire. And that's the end of the recovery phase. And now we go to the Carnage phase to see if the game has ended. Okay, the current strength of the Japanese ships that are currently in the coastal areas is 3, but we reduce it by the smoke level. It's 2, and it is not greater than the garrison level. So we are still in the game, and we proceed to the next turn. We go now to the discovery phase. We roll 3 dice and select the highest number, and it is a 5. The first counter is another 0. This 0 can't attack anybody in the combat air patrol box. It strafes the runway. There are no aircraft, so we eliminate the 0, and 1 garrison strength point is lost. Reducing the level now to level 5. Now we select the next marker, and we have a fuel marker. We don't have any Wildcats. It'll serve to absorb losses, I suppose. Next marker drawn. Another ship. This is from the 23rd Destroyer Division. And unfortunately for us, this destroyer has a companion from the same division in a coastal area. So things are getting very difficult now. Next marker, and another ship, a cruiser from the 59th Cruiser Division. We place it on the map in the same zone as the other ship from the same division. And finally, the last marker from this round, it is another 0. So the 0 strafes the airfield and causes 1 point to be removed from the garrison track, and it is now at level 4. Now we conduct Japanese movement. And we still have these 2 units on the beaches, but we have a lot of units adjacent to the beaches. And the Japanese start firing away. Starting here with this destroyer, it rolls 3 dice, needs a 3 to hit, and all 3 hit. And the airfield is hit. We spend 1 grit to forestall a reduction in the garrison level. Then the fuel depot is hit. Oh, I misplaced this one. This one should be here. That takes this fuel counter away. And finally, the number 6, this gun emplacement here is hit, and we will place a fire marker on the gun emplacement to not reduce any more the garrison level. Now this Japanese destroyer will fire. It has smoke, so it only rolls 2 dice, needs 3 or more, and we rolled 2 3s, so that's 2 hits. Let's see where the 2 hits land. 2 and 4, the headquarters. With the headquarters hit, we lose 2 points, so it's now down to 2. If we lose 1 more, the game ends. And the next hit, a 4, hits the fuel depot, and there are no more fuel counters there. So the garrison track level finally goes down to 1. And that's the end of the game. Now we go to the victory point determination phase. And we only perform this phase if the game has ended, according to the rules, and it has ended. So we determine the level of victory or defeat we have achieved by the total number of victory points. And the first thing we do is we award 1 victory point for each of the first and second invasion attempt counters that were revealed. So in the first phase, 32 were revealed, and in the second, 38. So that is 70 victory points. Each ship in the Emperor's Glory box gives us the amount of victory points equal to its strength. So let's see what we have there. There is a total of 9 ships worth 29 strength points or victory points. So when we add it to the 70 that we have for the counters drawn, we have a total of 99 victory points. We add 2 points for each Yankee grit marker left. So we have a total of 12 points in Yankee grit markers. So the score goes now up to 111 points. And because we used civilians and drafted them, we subtract 20 points. So now the score goes down to 91 points. So we look for the final tally here. 91 falls here. A Pyrrhic victory. The Japanese force is humiliated by the casualties they suffer. The invasion force commander is ordered to present himself before the emperor and commits seppuku. Oh boy. The war ends as it did in 1945. So this looks like the historical result, and that's what we obtained. So that is the end of our playthrough of Islands of the Dam Given Up for Dead, Wake Island. I hope that the playthrough has given you an idea of how the game plays and what the game has to offer. This is Stuka Joe signing off. Thanks for watching.